take the pressure off yourself. We put far more pressure on ourselves to be always available, instantly responsive, squeezing productivity out of every minute, rather than embracing the opportunity to set boundary and then allowing ourselves to operate within those. Growth comes from being relatable and repeatable and knowing that, okay, I might be this very specific clientele that I'm after, but if I want to grow, you've got to open it up. We need to just kill the myth of work-life balance. Like the word balance literally means equal weight, right? Like that you're trying to find equal weight. And that's just not true. In our day-to-day lives, there are some days where work weighs heavy and demands on you. This idea of trying to pursue balance, I just think it's unattainable. The number one reason that most businesses fail is not the financial side, which you often hear that it's lack of access to capital or they didn't get profitability soon enough. It's burnout.
What would you say is like one of the biggest things that like people kind of fail or they give up?
That's a good question. I think
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Hello. We are on episode 21 of Therapists Unhinged, and we are so excited because today we get the wonderful Kathryn from weVenture.
Yes.
She is the all-time guru with reVenture. She helps every female entrepreneur out there. Like, and not only is she with this, I would say agency, right? This or
organization
is probably a better word. Even though she's with this organization, you're passionate about actually helping. You are passionate about your job. That comes out through in every way. So Bella Mental Health has always been a part of weVenture for the past few years, and it's helped us tremendously grow. I've gotten some amazing support. And meeting Kathryn has been one of the biggest blessings for me.
Absolutely.
So
I'm
so happy that you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Good. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about her and a little bit about what she does and brings to the community and how it definitely ties into mental health.
Very much so.
Kathryn, I know that you really help female entrepreneurs and you see that it's all not sunshine and rainbows.
Exactly.
And that is what a lot of people think when they're starting a business is I'm going to make money. I'm going to have my own schedule. I'm going to just be, just rocking and rolling and everything's going to be great. And unfortunately, we've come to this term of work-life balance.
Nope.
That we know it's
not easy.
We don't even know what that is.
That's right. It's not
So,
easy.
Let's unpack that today.
Let's
Let's talk about that a little bit
That's
today.
what we're going to unpack.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, what you know about this whole work-life balance and...
Well, I'll jump in and say, I think what you hit the nail on the head is that most people get into entrepreneurship or becoming self-employed with optimism. They think that it is going to unlock and solve the conflicts that they're experiencing, whether they feel like they're in a job where they can't make enough money, they don't see career advancement opportunities. Great, I can go be CEO, C-suite on day one if I start my own business, right? If they are looking around and they're saying, you know what, I'm not making enough financially, and I think that I'm wasting a lot of time waiting for permissions and bureaucracy, I can go be more efficient, leverage my time and talent. I will make more money more efficiently if I start my own business. So they start with this optimism. Or, we do see a lot of the people who are market driven. They see an opportunity in the market and they're like, somebody should do a thing. I think I could do the thing. There's money. A lot of people come to us because they start addressing that market opportunity and the business takes off before they're really even ready to make it a business. It starts as the side hustle or passion project, and then all of a sudden orders or clients are demanding more of their time. But the reality really hits very quickly because most people are good at what they do and they don't have that MBA. They didn't take probably any finance classes. And so when it starts coming to cash flow management and starting to really strategically plan, how do I get from here to there? And with very, volatile payment, as you know, healthcare industry, how that can be, it takes strategic management to lead an organization, to grow an organization. And I always say the number one reason that most businesses fail is not actually the financial side, which you often hear that it's lack of access to capital or they didn't get profitability soon enough. It's burnout. Because they start the business without thinking strategically, they are working harder and less efficiently and it is harder to get to that financial position where it is. So our goal at weVenture is always to help people achieve sustainable business growth.
Mm-hmm.
And that is different for every entrepreneur. It could be, I need $75,000 a year to put some kids through college, help with the mortgage. It could be, I want to build a thriving business and have 20, 30 employees. It could be, I want to build a brand and be national. Whatever your goal is, we want to help you achieve your goal based on that kind of financial and life perspective.
Right. That is definitely, I've seen that, especially since like COVID.
Yeah.
And I know that you've seen that too, where a lot of women are, starting to open their own businesses
So
and things
many.
like that. But I mean, I'm also seeing on the other side in our therapy world, how a lot of women, even in not even owning their own business, just being at a corporate like level and work the hustle
of it. Yeah.
the hustle of it, that they're like burnt out, they're not spending time with their kids, or they feel like they're missing out.
Yeah.
I know I've experienced that, and the guilt that comes along with that.
Yeah.
And we work with women who do that as well.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll tell you this, so that we actually have some really interesting research that's come out. They've started using tax data to look at both individual filers and business filers. And so since 2018, we have a new data set called the Non-Employer Statistics and Data Set that lets us look at who really are these solopreneurs, independent contractors, because we've heard the buzzwords about, contract workers, independent contract workers, and gig workers, right? That, the gig economy was blowing up. So now we actually have really hard data that we can see who are these independent. The two fastest growing segments of independent contractors are women who are the heads of household at the lowest income quartile and women who are the heads of household at the highest income quartile. And so that means the women who are at both ends, whether they are not making enough or they have that responsibility and it's a side hustle or a second job, or whether they are the high earners, high achievers that cannot handle the corporate structure and processes, and they're saying, I can do this more efficiently, manage my time and talent by becoming, self-employed entrepreneur. And so that really has motivated me. When that data set came out, that's what I studied for my dissertation and what I really tried to dive into, because I don't think that we as a country talk about it enough. The gig economy got a lot of notice, but we have also seen data because of this now that really is less than like 5% of these independent contractors are gig workers that are strictly doing online app-based Fiverr delivery, That's what we consider gig workers, and that's really only 5%.
Thank you, because I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, I got a gig, y'all.
Yeah, well, and it was a big buzzword, right? Because as we switched to Uber driving and everybody's getting grocery delivery, it was like, everybody's leaving to go be gig. No, a lot of people are doing that to supplement, and it does take special people who are doing it for full-time work, and maybe they're at a point or position where that is a great option for them. But the vast majority of our non-employer, our solopreneurs, as I call them, really they're independent. And not to get too deep into policy, but once the American Health Care Act plan went into place, it requires that if a business grows to 50 or more employees, they must provide health care.
Yep.
And so since that happened, we have seen an incentive for small businesses that maybe used to be growth oriented, that might want to be like, I'm trying to add employees. They're now incentivized to be like, I want to stay under 50. And so the idea of more leveraging, and even larger corporations and those businesses that are there, because, okay, now I don't have to be responsible for healthcare. They could be contractor based and know that they could get, through the exchange, access to healthcare. So it has been, I would say that's a win-win for business and individuals who value that flexibility, and it has been a big reason why we've seen that growth.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I just threw that all out there, but that was a lot.
I'm like
Sorry.
taking notes over here. I'm like,
yeah, you can learn a lot from Kathryn, for sure.
I love it.
So what would you say for advice? So let's say women are starting to, want to be more independent, and they just want to have this reach of this unrealistic magical unicorn of work-life balance.
Yeah.
What would you say to them? And they're like, they come to you and they're like, Kathryn, I'm coming to weVenture because I want to start my own business because I'm tired of the hustle.
Yeah. I really, in our language at weVenture, and when I go out and speak to women personally, when I get to go out to groups, is say that we need to just kill the myth of work-life balance. Like work-life balance, the word balance literally means equal weight, right? Like that you're trying to find equal weight. And that's just not true. In our day-to-day lives, there are some days where work weighs heavy and demands on you. And there are some days where life weighs heavy on you and demands more of you. And there are some days when the community or, circumstances in that third pile of other weigh heavy on you and demand more of you, hurricanes, whatever it might be. So this idea of trying to pursue balance, I just think it's unattainable. So I really prefer the term equilibrium, and that our goal should be, how can I put in systems and organize my work processes to minimize conflict. The idea of equilibrium is literally navigating change without conflict. So how do we set up systems in place that help us go from, this week work is really busy, but I've got a system in place that I know the family and the kids are going to be okay, whether, that's meal planning, or I know I've got the neighbor or the grandparent that steps up when I'm busy, that you've got some system in place that, okay, that's going to help me out. And then the next week when you're like, oh, I can do the field trip because I've budgeted my time so that I know family's going to be a little more of a priority this week, or I can take the week off for that family vacation because I'm going to plan my business to make sure that that time is protected. So it's about reducing the conflict, and a big, huge part of that for entrepreneurs. And I hope if somebody takes only one thing away of how do you do it, it's to manage expectations, your own and your clients. Because if you can set up that auto respond when somebody reaches out to you on the website, but say, thank you so much for your inquiry. We work between 9 and 5 on Tuesdays because we can automate it to know, okay, they're messaging me on Monday night at 10 o'clock at night. I feel no obligation Monday night at 10:30 when I check it before bed, a feeling like I have to respond because they've already been notified that they will hear from me tomorrow during business hours. And so setting the expectation, setting that boundary allows us in whatever field, whatever industry you're in, and that's just one example, to take the pressure off yourself. We put far more pressure on ourselves to be always available, instantly responsive, squeezing productivity out of every minute, rather than embracing the opportunity to set boundary and then allowing ourselves to operate within those as a means to reducing that conflict and the points where they are actually overlapping and clashing.
Right. I mean, we talk about boundaries
That's amazing.
all the time.
I hope so.
I'm like drawn into you.
I know, me too, because boundaries is such a big thing that we have to talk to our clients about, between families and friendships and everything about boundaries. But like you said, I love equilibrium. I love that term. I'm going to start using that. Because when someone says, I'm trying to find a work-life balance, I'm like, no, you need to find equilibrium.
That's different. Let's make it a thing.
Yes.
Make it a thing.
Let's make it the
new
language.
But I think it takes pressure off people too, because
does.
a lot of times when you say, oh, you need balance, and people are trying to figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's unattainable.
It's unattainable.
And so
I have never really had a day, and I would love to meet somebody who did, where I'm like, I hit everything at 25%, 25%, 25%. You know what I mean? Like you end every day feeling like, wow, that took a lot out of me. I was kind of short to my coworkers today because I had this going on in the back of my, you know what I mean? Absolutely. Like we feel it, we admit it. And when you just acknowledge it from the beginning that this is how life really interacts, then our goal becomes, okay, maybe I need that commute to decompress a little so that by the time I walk in the door, I'm not snippy, right? Maybe that's part of the system that I'm doing to make sure that I'm not letting work-life conflict, which I think a lot of people who work from home, they miss that commute. That's one thing that people end up missing.
Well, I think you mean one thing too is like, we have to be the manager of our own life, and we can't look at someone else's life and how they appear to be, everything is working good. And I know people have looked at me like that. Like, I'll talk to family and friends I haven't seen in a while. Oh, I see you on social media. You are just doing amazing. And I'm like, you have no idea what I just was crying about. Like behind the scenes, because it's like, we have to sometimes put on this space for work and for family, our kids, because we don't want to put that stress.
Our stress to be their stress.
To be
100%.
their stress. And even, I have young adult children, and even them, like now that they're older, they can recognize when mom is burnt out from something. And they're like, what's wrong, mom? I could tell something's off. I'm like, I'm fine, like everything's good, no worries. So I think we have to figure out what our systems and processes will work for us.
Absolutely.
And I know that I'm a big believer in like, pivoting and evolving and seeing what may have worked for me a year ago,
Might
may not
not.
work for me right now.
100%. Yeah.
So I think we need to get that message out there, is that if something isn't working in your life, whatever that is, and especially if you're like, okay, I'm not happy with my job, or I love my job, I don't love my boss or something, and you're wanting to step out and do something else, it's like, okay, well, manage your expectations. Don't expect to just, all of a sudden I have this business idea and it's going to take off. It's going to take off.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Managing expectations is, and that, my background is in politics, right? And that is like numero uno of politics, right? Like when you go out into the world, you want to set forth the right expectation for everything, whether it's, hey, I'm inviting press to come to this. How many people are you expecting? Okay, well, you're going to say a number that you can beat, right? Because you want to manage. You don't want the press to end up writing a story like, oh, not enough people showed up. When you start a business with that optimism that, oh my God, I'm going to make this much money and I'm going to do all this, you are setting yourself up for that big goal. And it is really important. And one of the things that we love most about working with people from the get-go is having a business plan that starts with today and gets you there, so that you see what you have to do in that process. Because sometimes the hardest thing and what kills me when people come in and they've designed the logo and they've done everything but go out and try to get a client, like, because they think all of that stuff is what's going to get them there. And so when we really start talking about, okay, well, let's talk about what are the actual actions that you need to do to get to that business, that first step often is not what they think it is.
Yeah. Looks very different.
It looks very different.
Yeah. And one thing too that I've noticed is, like, just over the years, I opened mine in 2020, completely
great
out of
timing.
the hip. I know,
great
right?
Timing.
Literally at the peak of COVID, April of 20. It wasn't but it wasn't my plan. I didn't have this business plan together. I didn't, and I sought out people like weVenture. I'm like, okay, I need some sort of support. What do I do? I don't know how to grow, and I didn't even have a vision, to be honest. Going into it, so I think giving yourself some grace and flexibility is important too, because like from 2020 to now 2025, the end of 2025, I would have never pictured what I have
it is
today.
now.
Never in a million years. So, and it wasn't my expectation. And I think that probably helped me, because I didn't have an expectation on myself, but I did pivot a lot of what I thought I wanted. Sometimes I thought I wanted this. I started it. I'm like, what? I really don't want that. And then and being in your leadership, Athena too, the Athena leadership program that both TJ and I have done. This one's next over here, Robin. She's going to be a part of it.
I have a doctorate in leadership. So
No, you always can grow and evolve. So that's the
absolutely.
thing. And so with these classes, and now the CEO peer group that I'm a part of, even since the beginning of being a part of this peer group, it's like I've changed what I thought my direction was going into something different, because my expectation was one thing and it wasn't going to fit into what would have been best.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the two things that entrepreneurs have to be is they have to be willing to recognize when things aren't going well and make the pivot, make the change, whether we want to call that adaptable or that they're flexible. But, entrepreneurship is very rarely a straight line. Life is rarely a straight line. So we could say this also, in terms of therapy, like you've got to just be done. You've got to, whatever, as I like to say, operate in the way the world is, not as you'd like it to be, right? So you can't, if there's things that are outside your control, you focus on controlling what you control. And then the second thing that entrepreneurs have to be is they have to be willing to admit what they don't know. And that is one thing that we look for. And believe it or not, so most people can call up, I don't know if you get the chance to fire clients, but we kind of politely fire clients because we have so many people that will call us, and maybe they are just looking for a therapist. They just want to talk to a business coach and like complain about the things, or, this isn't working. But we, after a session or two, get to the point where we start assigning them, this is what you should be working on. Now that we understand your business challenges and opportunities, now that you understand your business challenges, this is what you should be working on. Steps A, B, and C. And we call it, this is your individual entrepreneur plan. And you can book your next free session when you've worked on that. And it is a very polite way to get rid of clients that are just coming to complain, that don't actually want to work on the business and aren't willing to learn or recognize that what they're doing is actually not helping them achieve their goals. And the process that we have to make sure we're all very clear about what those goals are, what is it that you are doing, and and to find that strategic alignment or misalignment or opportunity, that's how it all works out. And when I talk to colleagues at other WBCs, it's one of the things. We want to be free. You shouldn't have to pay somebody to ask a question, but we also can't just let people waste our business coaches' time, And so focusing on the people who are willing to learn, be flexible and adapt, willing to admit they don't know what they don't know, and then work on it and seek out that
so
support.
Important. And I think that's important in therapy too. Do we not say that? And we do have this thing. We love like feeding off each other and like picking each other's brain. Like I have this client, they've been in treatment for, they've had 6 sessions, but they're not doing any of the work that we were telling them to do. And we're like, and so I'm like, hey, and so they'll come to me and they're like, hey, what do you think I should do? And I'm like, I think you should say, if you don't work on X, Y, and Z, come back when you are ready.
When you're ready.
Book your appointments when you're ready, because clearly you're not ready for this. Coming here and venting, we want you to have a safe space, right?
Yeah.
But we want to move you in the direction.
Right.
Yeah, we want to see some movement forward.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all need an individual therapy plan.
Yes.
Come work on A, B, and C. Schedule your next appointment when A or B is done.
And that's what I love about like your programs too. Like I said, the peer group Jeanette that I'm working with, it's like she gives us homework to do. And on that next month that you've done it and everyone's sharing what they did or they didn't do.
You don't want to be the one who didn't do it.
Let me tell you, I'm a teacher's pet. I've always been. So I've always had my homework done. But like, even if it's the day before, I'm making sure that I'm doing my homework because I'm investing, right? And we're investing. And I want clients here. We tell them like, this is an investment of your time, whether it's your insurance, whether it's self-pay, whatever it is, this is an investment. So take what you can. And if you're not getting what you need, then you need to talk to your therapist about it. Or you need to reflect. What are you not doing?
Right.
Well, and the beauty of having that appointment with the therapist or the business coach is the accountability. It's putting the clock on the field. It's having the safe space to, come in, because maybe it doesn't go well, or maybe it doesn't go the way you like. We're not asking you to come in perfect, but we're asking you to try, and we're holding you accountable to trying and doing the next step. Right. And I think as long as we approach it, because I don't want to make it sound like we're like, don't come back until then. Like, we want you to try. Like maybe you don't know how to write a marketing plan, but we've given you some tools, some templates. Go forth and try, and then let's come back and talk about it.
Accountability. Wow, that word is what I'm a huge person on accountability. I really am on big on that. And I think from what we see, that's a lot of, I wouldn't say the failures of therapy. People go to therapy and they're like, oh, it just didn't work for me. A lot of times I'm like, well, what did they have you do? What did you work on while you were with that last therapist? I want to know what worked, what didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they gave me X, Y, and Z. Okay, did you do those things? Well, no. Or maybe the therapist didn't assign them things. Maybe they were just sitting there just chatting away, and venting. So I think holding accountability, even as if you want to open your business or you want to move up in your corporate ladder, what do you have to do to get there? You are in charge of your own life, and you are in charge of how you manage that, whether it's reaching out to people like you. Yeah. I know I don't know everything.
Or a mentor, somebody who's been there, anybody like who's going to help you define and then hold you accountable to what you're trying to accomplish.
I love my mentors. I will never forget. Like I have a few that I've always can call on and stuff. And you're one of them.
Everybody needs some accountability, because it is very rare. Like even the most disciplined of us who are able to accept short-term pain for long-term, and a lot of people pride themselves like, oh, I'm disciplined, I'm very regimented, or I'm scheduled. You still need accountability, because you get off track in the weeds then but what was my goal? People who are very disciplined sometimes don't look up to the big picture, and you need the mentor to help you. So whether you're somebody who's looking up and isn't doing the short term, or whether you're looking down and not looking at, we can benefit from that outside person, the coaching, the therapy, both help people really think outside of and see what they don't see, know what maybe some things they don't know, learn something.
Well, it's like proofreading a paper, because you're so in it, you're
so
very subjective. And so it's like, and so it's like I go, hey, TJ, like, can you just look at this for me? And she goes, girl, I don't even know what you're doing here. But because I know what it's supposed to be or whatever, and I'm just glossing over. And so, even, with everything, it's like that subjective, objective, which obviously we know in coaching, we know in therapy.
Yeah.
And also it's interesting that you were talking about work and systems, because I mean, I'm a 1000% systems girl. I mean, everything we do is systems. I was a coach. And so, like as an athletic coach, coach. And so we have to have, strategy and everything. So I'm loving all this stuff. But, one thing is that we were just having a situation, TJ and I, the other day with another clinician who was literally saying something about that. Like, I don't know what to do because my client may go, well, one, you can't do more work than them.
Yeah.
And then even with that, it's like you got to know, like, okay, I've given everything I've got, but it's 50%. They have to do them, and so I love that you have that in the beginning, because
and setting the expectation with them at the beginning too.
Absolutely.
Because then part of it comes to a client coming in expecting, well, you're going to fix this for me, right?
Yep.
As opposed to coming in and having the expectation be laid out at the beginning. We are here to advise and to talk through and help you reach some conclusions and help you understand what steps you can be taking to change your behavior, your business, whatever. But there is none, and that is a hard part. And I'm sure you guys go through this with your therapists, and I go through it with my coaches. They want to help, right? They want to like roll up the sleeves and get in there and spend time and do it. And it's like, but it is not your job to do the work for them. Like
and that's a fast way to burn out.
It's a fast way to burn out. It's unsustainable for us. And we have a whole process, like speaking of process, like if we have somebody that's really like, wow, I really just want to hire you to help me with this marketing plan or business plan, we have a whole form. Like, okay, you are exiting weVenture services. You are entering into fee for service with this coach. This is outside of the scope of what we provide. And it is there to make very clear to my coaches and to our clients that is happening, because I don't want that creep and I don't want my coaches to burn out, and I don't want our clients to think that we have the onus to do the work in their business. We're here to guide and advise.
I'm sure you cut one off to come over there.
To come over there. Yeah. Because maybe they need it. Maybe they do need that help, but that's outside of what we do here.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What would you say is like one of the, let's say, the top things that you see when someone comes in and they're like, okay, I help me with my business plan, or I have this idea, and you start to help them and they do start doing some of the work. What would you say is like one of the biggest things that like people do kind of fail or they give up?
That's a good question. I think it is very hard because some folks think that revenue will come quickly and fast. And that's just not, it can be really hard to get sustaining. So if you went all in on a business and you're really putting in a lot of upfront, if you don't have that Jerry Maguire fund, sitting there that's
show
like,
me the money.
Show me the money, but that you've saved and you can be like, okay, I can afford several months, a year, until I'm really getting to full, depending on what the business is, right? Some you might be profitable right away, but for some it might take a while. And then to get access to capital is a little bit harder than what I think. We have a lot of people that call and are like, okay, I'm calling about the grants. Who's going to give me money? There's just nobody. There's nobody giving away free money, and there's nobody giving away money to build your dream. There's just not. Even your friends and family are going to be like,
have you thought about this?
And to get access to capital from a lending institution, they really prefer 2 years of financials. So you've already got to be operating 2 years really to show the growth opportunity. And then investors, if you're looking at other private equity, they're going to really want to see market share. So I think what your question was where do they fail? One of the places where they most often fail is not recognizing how much it will cost, the money that they need, and then not being able to plan up front to sustain through until they can get to profitability or get access to that capital that they'll need to get to the next level.
I see that. I mean, knowing what I've gone through and the stuff and the finances, and it's a big part of it. Like I said, I think one thing that was on my side is I didn't have the expectation of like, hey, I'm going to make this great, thing. I never had that in my head. So whatever happened kind of just evolved. And another thing too is, what about when females do come to you and they're like, I'm just getting burnt out. Like, do you tell them, like, how do you begin that conversation?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, we don't want to be, I don't want two things. I don't want my coaches to be telling somebody to continue down a path that is potentially financially ruinous, right? We take that responsibility to be an honest broker and help them look at their numbers very openly because I certainly don't want to feel like I'm sleeping at night and like, oh, she's pursuing her dream, but she can't pay her rent and her kids are hungry. Like
Right.
I don't want that. Like I want them to help. And so we do have situations where it is, you need to find a job and this is a side hustle and you need to pursue some employment and let's keep working on this on the side, right? And we are not credit counselors, but I have, through a partnership with the Credit Builders Alliance, our business coaches have gone through like a credit counseling course so that they can have the language and the resources if people are coming in and being out. When we talk about business finances and they mix together, we might know that their credit score is low. We might know that they don't have any physical asset. Like we hear that on the personal side because that's what lenders want to know. If you were going to get a loan out, they're going to look at your personal asset like they 100% are. And that's going to impact what you can do. So we try to be prepared to have those conversations, but it's hard. The other situation, and this is where I bet our businesses overlap, is women recovering from divorce, domestic violence, when they are in a total rebuilding from nothing midlife. But we all know the older you are, the more responsibility, the more things you have. So that rebuilding, starting over, feels heavy. Or when they recognize like, oh my gosh, I had been stay at home or I'd been, cash based, maybe working a little bit. And now all of a sudden I have no retirement. I have nothing, like that their financial future seems very grim because of, I thought I had this other future. And so helping women through that, we take very seriously because that is a personal and business. We want what is best for them. And sometimes it is not entrepreneurship. Sometimes it can be, and maybe we can get there, but sometimes it is. You've got to get a traditional wage labor job. You've got to have some security and stability. And we could start this on the side and then let's see if we grow it up.
So on another end, what about what if someone comes in and they have the business and they've been operating,
we love
for years?
Yeah.
We love those people.
They're fun. That's who Jeanette loves. Jeanette, Jeanette loves our really established business and that's strategic. And then when you're going through a growth point, strategic change, that's what kind of our Ignite 360 program, we always say it's to manage growth, to navigate growth or prepare for change, navigate change or think about succession planning or what's next. Once you're an established business, and you've gotten to, let's just say, usually it's about 10 employees. Once you get over 10 employees, then it's like, oh, this is more than I as a boss can manage. So then we start thinking about those systems and processes that how are we going to grow to really manage a team of that size? And then if you get to the point where you're at 25, 30, 50, huge growth. By the time you've gotten to 50 employees, scaling to 100 actually isn't as dramatic because you've already had to put in place so many systems and processes that it is a business, right? It is a business that and there's people to do this and there's HR people and there's da-da-da-da. But when you're little and it really is like maybe boss and number two, it's like, okay, we only have so many hours. We don't have systems and processes in place to handle. So that's where we love to get involved. That, and it's not quite second stage. The world considers second stage companies really that are going from that 50 to trying to get to 100 and 250. For our clients, I love to get involved and we love to help clients when they're at that 5 and 10 and they can see growth and like, let's help them get to that 25 and 50. And then when they get to 50, they're going to fly,
Yeah, like Karen Montas, she's one of my mentors. She's going to be on our podcast too.
Okay.
And she was my mentor and she actually kind of pumped me up to almost give me that motivation. And she connected me with weVenture. She's like, hey, we have weVenture. Why don't you look it up and see? Like, and I don't remember who I reached out to too. Might have been you directly. I don't remember. But, and then they had the different programs. I did Athena. And then I just was like, the amount of support that you guys have, like in all different areas for so many different people, I'm just like, I gotta continue because I love because if it wasn't for weVenture, I don't think I would have had as much motivation. I wouldn't have had as like strategic, all of it. I really wouldn't have.
Well, you guys did well.
I know you have done well.
But so it's confidence building, right? Because it is very lonely when you start a business. It's very lonely, and like you don't have those water cooler people to talk through. Hey, this is what's going on at work anymore. You're kind of like, doing it yourself.
Dad, you're
And
it.
so one of the things we really strive to be is that safe place, because you're selling to everybody else too, right? Yeah, like you're trying to put out on your socials and to the community, I know what I'm doing, come pay me to do the thing. You know, you're trying to build that confidence. So we try to be the safe place where men and women can come and say, I kind of know in my head, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, or is this right? Or I have a problem, and we can help you work through it, which gives you then confidence. And once you have some more confidence in your skills or gain some strategic skills that you need to manage a business, you can handle the others, you know, and then when they come at you, you're coming back to us like, hey, guess what I did? I solved this. Yep. And I hope it's the same when you see therapy, you know, like you give them the tools, you give them the communication,
like the
and
same,
they come back and they're like, hey, you know, I got triggered by my mother-in-law, but I said this, you know, you're proud of them. Absolutely. And so when somebody comes back and they're like, hey, I had a down month, but I did this and this, and I adjusted my inventory, we're like, look at your tools, you know,
self-sufficient self.
Yes, and we do too. So I mean, that is great. And Kathryn,
a lot of overlap.
I
mean,
know.
we're
so
like
much,
coaching, like business coaching and therapy. I bet are very like
I know.
parallel.
And actually, even being moving along with weVenture has even given me. And I spoke to Jeanette about this. I was like, God, I'm actually like, I want to almost help other women now, like to help consulting, you know, because I'm like, I know I've been in the dumps. I've gone up, I've gone down, I've done things that are unexpected, you know, come up owning a business that people just don't know unless you've done it yourself. You really don't know. We answer emails, you know, in the middle of the night, or we're up and we're managing kid stuff, family stuff comes up you don't expect. So there's so many things that can happen.
And do
continue to happen. And so that's life, right? And we have to be able to have that support. And I feel like with you all, weVenture has like given me that support and the different mentors I have. So.
And you're in an industry where there is more than enough work for everybody.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
there's so much need. There's so much need. There's so much demand that it is in your best interest to mentor or help other people. Like because that other practice is not really your competition. Like y'all are in it together trying to help the community, you know? And so it can be hard when you have cutthroat, more competitive industries to get them to come to the table for a peer group like what you're participating in, because they're very, I don't want anybody else to know what I'm doing. And we're trying to be mindful. Like you probably, I think Jeanette would not put somebody else with the exact same business, right? Like we try to filter so that there is some, but when you are in an industry like that, it is to your benefit to have people to refer to, because at some point you're going to say, I can't take on all these clients. Who else can I refer them to? Or you're going to say, wow, like I staffed up, I've staffed down. I need somebody, you're laying somebody, you know, like.
Yeah, we're all helping each other in these groups. And I have actually, like, one of the people is like in speech therapy, speech and occupational, and she's been doing it for 2 years. And she hasn't done a lot of steps, which is why she joined. And she picked my brain and I helped her. I'm like, oh, try this. And she goes, oh my God, she emailed me personally. She's like, you helped me so much. I did X, Y, and Z that you said, and I love it. And I'm like, I'm so glad I got to help you.
And think of it this way, like the scheduling process alone, right, is a pain point for every business, for every single bit, whether you are scheduling physical labor, hey, when am I coming out to the house and when is my crew available? Or you were scheduling mental health, you know, things, or you were just trying to schedule your employees to run a restaurant. Like the scheduling and the client intake and how are we flowing is a pain point. So don't reinvent a wheel. Don't feel like you're the first person that has to solve this problem. You are not. Like it is a problem everybody faces. So find somebody else who's done something in a similar way, or that you think has handled it well, or that you're like, oh, I really like that, you know, restaurants are competitive, right? Restaurants are very competitive. The best way to open a good food service industry is to emulate the ones that you like and are going about, and to learn from the ones that you don't, because you aren't like, I don't care how good your recipe, it's not the new experience. The customer interaction same. So it's that type of getting over yourself, accepting I don't know what I don't know.
Asking
for help,
in therapy
and not feeling like you have to reinvent wheels.
Right.
Like this is not on me to solve. Somebody has solved this. I just need to learn.
Right.
And it should be a compliment too.
Like it is a high compliment.
Like I've noticed things that's happened over the last few years
Mhm.
that people have kind of like very similar, do things that only I had, and now they're doing it. I'm like, that's awesome. I guess I like kind of put that little thing on them. That's fine. You know, but it's you have to change your mindset of that as well. So
And you kind of have to be careful in this day and age of you can become too niche, right? Like people really, this is what I do and this is who I serve and this is what like, but growth comes from being relatable and repeatable and knowing that, okay, I might be this very specific clientele that I'm after, but if I want to grow, you've got to open it up. And I think sometimes in this very independent minded, unique world that we have, that narrowness sometimes is part of the challenge that businesses have to get over. And because I'm sure when you started off, you were like, I want to help women. We're going to be a women and women. Okay, well, you know what? Families and men and you know, everybody who doesn't fall into your middle-aged, frustrated housewife, they all need help too.
You have to be flexible.
Expand your reach.
You have to
gotta expand your reach.
Expand your reach. Absolutely.
Well, Kathryn, you have been such a joy to have.
This is
on your
fun.
show.
I felt like I was in class.
I know, right? Rob is such a note.
I know you're literally taking notes.
No, I knew I wasn't going to say much. I was just like, oh, I'm watching this
know.
go.
She's amazing. And that's why I'm so glad TJ got to do one of her programs. We'll put you in something.
Well, just listen, I'm going to do whatever. They're going to put me and I go, yes,
listen, whatever they have so many things.
I do it.
But Kathryn, thank you for all you do. And if wherever you are, I will always, I think, see you as this amazing individual, this weVenture guru, I just love it.
It is definitely not. I think we have a wonderful team and we have a wonderful network, and it is starting from the beginning that we're all here to support each other, that there is enough pie for everybody to go after the slice in whatever way, you know, that you do. And when you come at helping people from that perspective, we all love our job. We love what we do. We love even on the days.
And everybody I've met through you
it
shows. Like everyone has been like, how can I help you?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you need? You know, like, and I love it.
Yeah.
So, and they call you out, and I love being called out my bullshit. I said it.
Oh, yeah, she had to say bullshit. Sorry, that was the first time.
When people, you know, my mentors, they'll say, Nella, you didn't call me when this and this happened. You know, I could have helped you with that. And I'm like, I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't want to bother you. And they're like, that is a part of what I do.
What we're here.
And that was one of my problems, I think, in my growth has been reaching out to people,
accepting that,
to having, it's almost because I feel like I'm a burden or they're so busy, you know, but now I'm like, all right, come on, help me.
I know you're trying to wrap it up, but that's where the reality of, like, when we talk about what does it mean to be authentic, people don't just want to hear from you, and they don't just want to be the type of friend or colleague or mentor if you are always putting on a show for them, right?
Absolutely.
Like, real relationships come in when you get to the point with somebody that when they ask how you're doing, you don't just say, I'm fine.
And I always call that a canned answer.
Yes, I'm
that
fine.
Is so canned.
I'm fine. So I had a mentor call me out on that just last week. He was like, and he called me out, and I had a face-to-face Teams meeting, and I'm like, you know what, you're right. And I emailed him after I processed what we talked about and stuff, and I'm like, you're so right. I'm like, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I should have reached out sooner. And maybe because you called me out, and that's the kind of support that we need. So
absolutely.
Well, real quick, I just want to say, because again, I don't know any of this.
You're the newbie to the weVenture.
But I will say, and it's funny because I came from education. Yeah. But just being here, because I've been here almost 3.5 years now, which is crazy. But one, I mean, I've learned so much from her, and I can tell by now being with you why you do what you do. And so, I mean, and it's funny, we were talking about leadership because I actually wrote my doctoral dissertation based around like attitude reflects leadership. And so that's what we always try to do here. And hearing everything, I'm like, that is why we were doing, that is why. Like, I'm sitting here going, that's why we are who we are, because it is, you know, TJ and I really come in and try to go, hey, this is Nella's vision. This is who we are. This is what we want to do with the authors. So thank you, because I mean, wow, like that. I mean, because you're doing it right. I mean, from what I can see, just on the outsiders, like, it's amazing.
We have to mention, like, you guys both went through the program. We've called it just Athena, but the Athena International and the Athena Leadership Program is very self-reflective about what kind of leadership characteristics and defining that. Not that I'm defining it for you, but that you go through the process of defining that for yourself, and how do I want to show up as a leader, and what does this characteristic look like in either what I'm doing or what I want to be doing.
Yes.
It's
And when you
amazing.
go through that process, it's not do A, B, and C. It is how do I want to live out this value? And I think that is an amazing approach to leadership. It's one of the reasons why I love it, because it is still personal and it's still about understanding what your goals are and what your personal strengths are, but it's putting it into action and giving you focus and clarity.
Yep,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. And my daughter is in the program this time.
That's
So
awesome.
it's a very good
I
program.
think you
and
might
I
be our
appreciate you
first
so much.
mother-daughter.
Oh,
Really?
graduate.
Graduate.
We'll
I'm
have
going
to
to have to
support.
highlight that.
Yeah, we'll come and support her too.
So whenever it
so.
is, y'all want to come and
Yeah.
support too.
So
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you
Thank
again,
you.
Catheryn,
Thank
for
you for
having me
having
on
me.
this
This
on the
was
show.
fun.
Such a
And
Do it
pleasure.
again.
don't forget to tune in a couple
Yes.
weeks.
Thank
All
you.
right.